Hey everyone, welcome back. Markets don't move randomly, they move in patterns, driven by behavior, structure, and narrative. There are moments in trading where analysis is no longer just theoretical, it becomes personal. And this is one of those moments, because this is a direct case study involving BlockDAG, specifically during its transition phase from pre-sale conditions into live trading on BitMart on April 8, 2026. And I want to be very clear about this. This is not an external observation. This is a personal experience backed by recorded execution data. At that moment, a portfolio that was displaying approximately $2,930 in value did not translate into equivalent real exit value once liquidity conditions were tested in live market transition. Just minutes before full trading access, the executable sell value reflected around $22. And shortly after listing conditions stabilized, the realized value dropped further toward approximately $14, resulting in a near 99.6% divergence between displayed valuation and actual exit liquidity. Now, the reason I emphasize BlockDAG here is not for emotional framing, but because this is the exact environment where narrative meets execution reality. And in previous analysis videos, this structural outcome was already anticipated, not based on speculation, but based on recurring structural behavior in pre-sale to exchange transitions. Because when you study environments like this, you repeatedly see the same conditions. Liquidity is not evenly distributed at the moment of listing. Order books are extremely thin at the exact point of price discovery, and execution value can diverge significantly from displayed valuation in a very short time window. These are structural mechanics, not opinions. And in the case of BlockDAG's transition phase, that structure played out exactly as expected. Now, this is where interpretation usually splits. Some people will frame this as normal early stage volatility, some will call it price discovery. But I want to remove labels completely from this discussion, because labels are not what determine risk. Execution is. And this is where I want you to think independently, not based on what I say, not based on what defenders say in comment sections, but based on observable structure. Because the real question is not whether a narrative sounds strong. The real question is whether you can identify a healthy market structure where, under normal conditions, an order book allows a near 99.5% collapse in executable value within the first moments of listing, while liquidity fails to support exit flow in a balanced way. That is not a rhetorical question. That is a structural benchmark, and everyone can verify it themselves across other market examples. Because if this type of behavior is normal and healthy, it should appear consistently across liquid markets. And if it does not, then it belongs in a different risk category altogether. Not emotional, not personal, structural. And that is the distinction that matters. Because when people reduce this discussion to, you don't understand markets, they are not engaging with execution data. They are reframing the narrative away from it. But execution does not change based on interpretation. It only reflects liquidity conditions at the moment of truth. And in this case, that moment is the listing transition itself. So the takeaway is simple. This is BlockDAG. This is the observed structure during its transition phase. And this is the divergence that occurred between displayed value and realized exit value. Everything else is narrative layered on top of that structure. Dior. Like, comment, and subscribe to Bias Positive Digital Rise.